Fort Collins is finally starting to see some relatively noticeable and significant price reductions in homes selling for less than their list price, not even considering seller concessions. What's up, everybody? My name is Patrick Soukup. This is the Living in Fort Collins YouTube channel where you come to learn everything there is to know about Fort Collins, eating, sleeping, playing, and the real estate market. Now, we are licensed real estate agents in the state of Colorado. So if you're considering a move, give us a call, text, or email. We are working with a significant amount of families moving in and around the area, individuals, partners, spouses, all that good stuff who are making their way to Northern Colorado and are helping navigate around this very unique real estate market. So make sure that you're working with somebody who is very active in the market. Those are good questions, whether it's us or somebody else. Without any further delay, let's jump into today's video, the huge price reductions and discounts that we are seeing in the market today. Here we go. We're gonna start with price reductions. Something that we didn't even talk about a year and a half to 2 years ago when interest rates were around 3% and homes were flying off the shelves. A very, very minimal amount of homes were having to do price reductions. Now we're seeing about 33% of homes doing some sort of a price reduction. Most of them are having either 1 or 2 price reductions, but some are having 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 price reductions. And of the 117 homes that had done price reductions between October 1st and October 23rd, as of this data kind of collection, 91 of those homes are still on the market. And the price reductions that we saw were somewhere between 5% on average, 3% median, $44,000 on average, $25,000 on the median, but really anywhere in between. Let's jump into some of this information that we're going to be able to share with you. So these are homes that have had, what this is how many days until they had a price reduction and how many price reductions they had with the percent off of their original list price. So if you can scroll down here, you'll see that really they've actually had 3 price reductions, and they could be anywhere 17% off to 10.29% off. And this is relatively significant because ultimately when the property is at its final list price, there could still be significant reductions from there, from its final list price to its sales price, and then concessions on top of that. And we'll talk about property sales here in a minute, but you can see that actually a lot of these are having there's some that have 9 price reductions, 17% off the original list price. Now, these are actually over on this far side. These are homes that actually have gone under contract, and they're having price reductions anywhere between 2 to 9%, and are only having to do 1 to 2 price reductions before going under contract. So that's the first and most important thing that I want to talk about is these price reductions that we are not seeing. 33% of homes that are on the market. There was 350 or so active listings thus far through October, both single family and attached properties that had, and 117 of those had price reductions. So pretty significant. So you can assume that if you see a property and it's sitting for longer than 10, 15 days, it's probably gonna have a price reduction and maybe even 2. Now, what about sold homes? Sold homes are important too, but they're always trailing between Fort Collins and Northern Colorado and Colorado. It's generally the way that we track days on market is about from the time that it goes on the market until the day that it closes. But a contract period is about 30 days. So these homes that have sold between October 1st and October 23rd were actually on the market really probably from September 1st until September 23rd, roughly. So we were dealing with relatively fewer or lesser interest rates, because right now interest rates is the topic of conversation between 7 to 8%, really right around 7.5%. But there were 91 homes that sold in Fort Collins during this time period, both attached, detached, existing homes. We're not considering new home sales. Now I want to show you guys some of the historical data for sales prices in Fort Collins. So we've seen average sales prices in Fort Collins, 620 on, this is a rolling 12 month, but on a monthly basis over the last few months, 616, 606, 703, 634. So we've seen above 600,000 all the way back until last year. We've always been above $600,000. Now, we are also seeing generally seeing about 177 homes sold in September. Last October, 180 some odd, 185 houses sold. So we've only had 91 homes sold thus far. So there could still be a significant amount of homes that close over the next week, but probably not. There's definitely a reduction of homes that are selling, but we're still going to see quite a bit. So the data is not fully formed yet. But that being said, I do want to show you the information thus far. Alrighty, here are the 91 homes that have sold so far. And this right here is the final sales price. On average, 562 and a median of 502. It's super interesting to see that we're probably around $45,000 under what the average has been for the last year. And again, we still have a few days left to remain, but these numbers also aren't including what seller concessions are. And seller concessions are a tool that sellers are using to help buyers buy down their interest rate and make the mortgage payment affordable for at least the next couple of years. So we're seeing on average a $7,800 concession and a median of $6,000, but you could see as high as $36,500 and as low as $300. That's probably more so an inspection item that they're doing. But what I want to show is this. Look at how many homes had a seller concession. You know, we're looking at a pretty significant homes that had some sort of concession. 46 of the 91 homes had a seller concession, and 42 of the 91 homes that sold had some sort of price reduction prior to selling. Because when you look at the original list, the list price, the final list price versus the sales price is great. But when you look at the original list price versus the sale price, they had to do those price reductions that we were talking about prior to going under contract and then prior to offering any concession as well. So there could be a relatively significant price difference of the original list price versus the sale plus the concession. Now, there are still some homes selling for more than the original list price. Let's look at that. All right. One thing I wanted to point out is there are still some homes selling for above list price, but that's not the full story. They're selling for above list price, but then offering a seller concession. So the theory here is that sellers are actually saying, hey, or buyers are saying, hey, your property listed at $600. I'll offer you $612, but you give me a $12,000 concession. You net the same as if you sold at $600,000. I get to buy down my interest rate, and the world's right, and we get to have a better mortgage payment for the next 2 years. The jury's still out on October, and we still have 8 days left before the end of the year. And you know, we do have a closing week ahead of us, a full week for properties to close. So I would suspect we're going to see at least probably 20 to 30 more homes sold, which could tick up that average. But thus far, we're seeing a average sales price of $560 versus a rolling 12 of right above $600,000. So definitely something to take note of, in addition to those seller concessions and prior price reductions. Buyers who are opportunistic, patient, and able to buy in this market are seeing deals, are seeing discounts, are seeing the opportunity to come in and to negotiate with a seller whose home may have sat on the market a little bit longer than what they've expected or what they've seen their neighbors sit on, and able to come in and get a better deal in the current market and hopefully get them down the road 2 years to get these 2-1 buy downs to take hold and then to refinance in a couple of years. It's an interesting market here in Fort Collins and Northern Colorado, and I do see strength in the market, but the numbers don't lie. We've seen price reductions. We've seen discounts. We've seen seller concessions. And I don't think that trend is going to stop until we have something that meets basically affordability. Prices, interest rates, one of the two are going to have to push each other enough to make it make sense for a buyer to buy in Northern Colorado. Now, if you guys have any questions, any concerns, or if you've enjoyed the video, give it a comment, thumbs up, share it with somebody who's considering a purchase here in Northern Colorado. We'd love to work with them and talk them through what this looks like, because there's a lot of people who aren't doing a decent enough amount of deals, or who aren't digging into this data and understand that, hey, it's not just offer the list price, it's what can we do to best serve ourselves as a buyer who've had to serve the sellers over the last 5, 10, 15 years. So make sure that you're strong in your negotiations and have the data to support it. Thanks for watching.